Alright, so welcome back to another Nick Sibicky's Music Production Secrets. Today is just going to be quick and dirty in terms of the world of NI Contact 5. I'm going to show you how you can record a voice and then sort of loop it indefinitely, so you'll actually be able to sustain that sound using a sampler forever and ever and ever. So in order to do that, let's get some audio. I'm going to use my own voice. Let's hit record. And it looks like I am recording, so that's a good sign. We can watch it here in the background. I'll close Contact for the time being. I'm just going to make a note, essentially. Here we go. I really don't have to hold it out that long, and you'll see why in a moment. Alright, so there we go. There's my audio recording. In the last video, we actually spliced this sample up so it was really nice, and I just had this one little audio part with just the little glass dink part that I want to export. We don't actually have to do that, though. I'm going to show you a quicker way. If you don't want to be, I like doing the other way because it makes it really organized, and this way is a little more messy, but it's also a little bit easier, so there's a trade-off. So I'm just going to highlight this whole sample. I'm going to hit P, and before I'm going to export it again. Actually, Cubase already recorded this as its own file. I don't have to export it again if I don't want to, but I'm going to just because, again, it's going to be easier to find. So I will call this Nick Singing, because that's what it is. I'll mix it down to mono, and we'll export. All right, cancel that. Let's just delete this audio now. Okay, so now all we have to do is go and open Contact. And we're going to find Nick Singing and drag that in and open it up. You can see that Nick Singing is
record and
mapped everywhere, and if I hold a note, you'll actually hear.
I'm going to make a note, essentially.
I'm just going to make a note. You can hear Nick singing, and actually not just singing, but all that whole recording. That's not what we wanted. We just want that do part, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down. Actually, I'm going to turn on Wave Editor. I'm going to turn off the mapping editor for now. And under the Wave Editor, you can actually see the entire sample has been loaded into Contact. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the start point to be right where I can tell that's the do part, and change the end point right afterward. And now when I play a note, all I should hear is the do. There you go, I'm singing with myself. Isn't that great? A few things you can tell that especially if I zoom in, right at the beginning of that do, I was not singing very well. I actually started with a little bit too much amplitude, and my pitch dropped. Right, I went do, it went down right at the beginning. So I'm actually just going to move my start point so it cuts that off. So it's going to start right there. Now you might hear some new problems. Number one, it doesn't sound quite as human anymore because you don't hear the breathing sound, you don't hear the start of my voice starting up, so it's a little robotic. But second, it also starts with a little tiny click. You hear a little tap, 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 right at the very start of the note. In order to remedy that, I have to make sure that when I start playing any of these samples, oops, you are right there, huh? Okay, it's very tricky to zoom in Contact sometimes. It's not as easy as Cubase. Okay, you can see that this start is actually right next to a peak right there. And that's basically asking the speaker, okay, do nothing, do nothing, do nothing, and all of a sudden jump out. And whenever you do that, you're actually creating a whole bunch of different frequencies you didn't intend, and that's how it gets that click sound. So in order to prevent that, I'm going to actually move this start point to about as close as I can get. Oops, is that a little too far, or am I? All right, zoom in, jump over, zoom in, jump over. I'm going to get as close as I can to a zero crossing. In other words, when our sound is right at the zero axis. And still a little bit of a click, but it's pretty good compared to the last one. Let's see if I move it a hair to the right. Whoop, that was 2 hairs. Oh no, I just lost my point. Where did you go, start point? All right, move it again. Sometimes I have to be careful when I'm just clicking like a madman. You probably shouldn't click like a madman ever, just for fun, I've decided. All right, let's put that back there, zoom in, try to get that right in the middle, zoom in, oops, and Zoom in, zoom in. All right, I'm gonna try to get it right on that zero crossing. Not bad. I'll take it. So it's gonna start playing back that sample right from that green S, and now it's going to end it when it gets there to the end. And I'll just hold that down as long as I just recorded that. You can actually already hear the high notes already fading out because they played back faster. And I just took that slow one a little bit longer to go through the waveform. Okay, so that's useful, but what if I don't want those high notes to fade out when I play a chord, right? If I play a high chord especially, you hear the really high notes come off, while the other ones are still holding. Well, that's a problem. But we have a solution. We can actually loop a portion of this wave file so they'll repeat indefinitely and it'll hold forever. That sounds really useful. In order to do that, all you have to do is click this little one to set your first loop point. And I then have to move this little yellow bar to go and find a portion of the wave file I just want to repeat over and over again. Let's take a listen. Let's play a little higher note so it goes a little faster. And it's just going to repeat there, just like that, forever. Now that loop point was actually pretty good, but let me adjust it, try to make it a little bit off. No, that's pretty good too. It's sounding too good. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. Often when you loop, you'll get this little click right there. You guys hear that click? And this is again because your sample's not lined up. Kontakt has this really great little loop edit tool. If I click here, I can actually see how far off my samples are. And basically you just want it to go, right, this is what's happening at the end of the loop, and this is what's happening at the beginning of the loop. So you can see it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, and then at the start of the next loop, it's already going down. So we have this little gap in the wave. And this is really easy. All I have to do is just sort of click and drag around until it lines up. And I'm just clicking with my left clicking with my mouse and holding down. Let's zoom out a little bit. Actually, you can't zoom out in this window. Let's go out of loop edit mode. Take a listen now. No click. There you go. So it loops forever. Isn't that great? So I just made the Nick instrument. I think that's wonderful. Actually, it's the Nick singing instrument. Again, like I said in the last video, these techniques really should make you feel empowered to create your own sounds and have your own sound palette. I know I spent a lot of time in college, and I still do on occasion, but a lot of my college music making career actually just going around and collecting, weird and interesting sounds, either around my own apartment or actually bringing field recorders and flash recorders and recording sounds from everywhere, so my music would not sound like anyone else's. I wasn't using canned sounds. I was essentially creating all of my own instruments, which can be really rewarding, really fun. And again, it's the way, if you want to make truly unique music, it's the way to do it. So hopefully this lesson was helpful. I'll see you guys in the next video.